Draco Malfoy spent 5 years being the villain everyone loved to hate. The sneering rich kid, the bully with the bodyguards, the one who never had to face real consequences because his father always cleaned up the mess. But in the summer of 1996, that all stopped. Because his father couldn't clean this one up, and the boy who walked out of that summer wasn't the same boy who walked into it. Let's rewind. For 5 years at Hogwarts, Draco Malfoy had it easy. His dad was rich, his dad had connections, his dad had the Minister of Magic on speed dial. Every time Draco got caught doing something cruel, Lucius Malfoy was there to smooth it over. That was the deal. That was the whole Malfoy formula. Money plus power equals untouchable. But then Lucius made one mistake. In June of that year, he led a group of Death Eaters into the Ministry of Magic itself, chasing a prophecy that Voldemort desperately wanted, and it went catastrophically wrong. Dumbledore showed up, the Order of the Phoenix showed up, and Lucius Malfoy, the man who always had an escape plan, got captured, arrested, thrown into Azkaban like a common criminal. Therefore, everything changed. Because Voldemort doesn't do second chances. He doesn't do sympathy. When one of his followers fails him, somebody pays. And this time, he decided the person who was going to pay wasn't Lucius. It was Lucius's 16-year-old son. On August 3rd, 1996, in a dark, dusty shop called Borgin & Burke's, tucked away on Knockturn Alley, Draco Malfoy rolled up his left sleeve. His mother Narcissa stood there. So did his Aunt Bellatrix. So did Fenrir Greyback, a werewolf who ate children for fun. A cauldron of glowing green potion sat in the middle of the circle. And as Draco extended his arm, the potion exploded with light, and the dark mark burned itself into his skin forever. He was 16 years old, and he was now officially a Death Eater. But here's the part that made it so much worse. Voldemort didn't just want Draco to wear the mark, he gave him a mission, an impossible one. Kill Albus Dumbledore, the most powerful wizard alive. The one man Voldemort himself was too afraid to face directly. Sounds like an honor, right? A 16-year-old trusted with the biggest assassination in the wizarding world? Except it wasn't an honor. It was a trap. Because Voldemort didn't actually expect Draco to succeed. He expected him to fail, and to die trying. This was never about giving Draco power, this was punishment. Punishment for Lucius, delivered through his only son. Fail, and Voldemort would kill him. Succeed, and he'd have blood on his hands for the rest of his life. There was no version of this where Draco walked away clean. Bellatrix thought it was glorious. She told Draco's mother he should be proud that the Dark Lord was granting him a great honor. Narcissa broke down crying in front of Severus Snape, because a mother knows the difference between an honor and a death sentence, and she knew exactly which one this was. So Draco went back to school that September carrying a secret that was slowly destroying him. On the train ride to Hogwarts, he actually bragged about it to his Slytherin friends, puffed his chest out, acted like the golden boy who'd finally arrived. But that swagger didn't last, because bragging about a mission and actually carrying it out are two very different things. At first glance, nothing looked wrong. When Harry spotted him at Madame Malkin's before term started, Draco looked the same as always. Pale, sharp-featured, dressed in expensive dark green robes. Same old Malfoy, but therefore something started cracking underneath. As the weeks went by, that polish began to peel away. By winter at Slughorn's Christmas party, Harry got a close look at him and barely recognized what he saw. Dark shadows under his eyes, skin gone gray, almost sickly. This wasn't a teenager enjoying his big moment. This was a teenager being eaten alive by fear. Because here's what nobody else at Hogwarts knew. Draco wasn't just supposed to kill Dumbledore in some dramatic duel. He had a real plan, and it was falling apart piece by piece. His main strategy involved a broken, ancient piece of furniture called a vanishing cabinet, hidden away in the Room of Requirement. If he could repair it, he could use it to smuggle Death Eaters straight into the castle. But cabinet repairing magic is brutally difficult, and Draco was doing it completely alone. with a countdown clock ticking in his head that only he could hear. So, when the cabinet wouldn't cooperate, he got desperate. He tried sending Dumbledore a cursed necklace through another student, hoping it would do the job for him. It nearly killed an innocent girl named Katie Bell instead. Then he tried poisoning a bottle of mead meant for Dumbledore. It ended up poisoning his classmate Ron Weasley by accident, and Ron nearly died. 2 attempts, 2 failures. 2 more innocent people hurt because a 16-year-old was being crushed under a task built to break him. But therefore, the guilt piled higher every single time. Draco wasn't some cartoon villain enjoying the chaos. He was falling apart. Students later remembered him disappearing for hours, locking himself away and crying. Moaning Myrtle, the ghost who haunted the girls' bathroom, became his only company because she was the one person who didn't ask questions and didn't report back to anyone. A friendless, terrified teenager sobbing on a bathroom floor next to a ghost, while an entire war expected him to become a murderer. Even Severus Snape, his own head of house, tried to step in and help him. Draco refused every single time. Too proud to admit he needed rescuing. Too terrified that accepting help would somehow get back to Voldemort and get his family killed. So he carried it completely alone. And all the while, the clock kept ticking toward June. By the time the school year reached its final weeks, Draco had finally fixed the vanishing cabinet. Death Eaters slipped through it into Hogwarts on the night of what should have been the final, unstoppable step of the mission. Draco led them up to the astronomy tower, the highest point in the castle, and there, waiting for him, wandless and unarmed, stood Albus Dumbledore. This was it, the moment everything had been building toward. Kill him and the nightmare ends. Fail and there's nowhere left to hide. But therefore, when the moment actually arrived, Draco couldn't do it. He raised his wand at the most powerful wizard in the world, and his hand shook. Dumbledore, calm as ever, spoke to him gently, told him he could still choose a different path, told him the Order of the Phoenix could protect his family if he just put the wand down, and Draco Malfoy, 16 years old, broke down sobbing in front of his headmaster. He admitted he had no choice, that if he failed, Voldemort would kill him, and kill his parents too. This wasn't hatred talking. This was a terrified kid who had been handed a war he never asked to fight. He never fired the curse. Because in the end, Draco Malfoy, the boy raised to believe cruelty was strength, discovered he wasn't actually a killer. But the story doesn't end with mercy. Because Snape arrived, pushed past Draco, and did what Draco couldn't. He killed Dumbledore himself, right there on the tower while Draco stood frozen, watching the one man who might have saved him fall. Therefore, Draco Malfoy walked away from that tower alive. But he didn't walk away whole. He'd worn the mark of a killer without ever pulling the trigger. He'd carried a family's survival on a 16-year-old's shoulders. He'd cried next to a ghost because there was no one else in the world he trusted enough to cry in front of. And after that night, the version of him that once strutted through Hogwarts like nothing could touch him was gone for good. What was left was someone who understood for the first time what it actually cost to be caught between 2 impossible choices. That's the moment Draco Malfoy's childhood ended. Not with a birthday, not with graduation, but on a rooftop, in the dark, with a wand shaking in his hand and a decision he was never ready to make. If you want to see what happens when the villain isn't really the villain at all, check out this next video. Because Draco isn't the only one in this story fighting a war he never chose. Don't forget to subscribe. Avenzo, our channel is for anyone who wants to know everything about their loved fictional characters. And a huge thanks for watching this video. Hit a like, subscribe, and don't forget to press the bell icon.